This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, it's Tammy here. Just wanted to do a quick Rebel Agent dispatch. Want to say hey to all my Rebel agents. You know, times are really, really interesting right now, to say the very least. And I hope that you all are doing well and that you're helping your clients move to higher ground, because the tsunami is just waiting for us. I was just reading some stories about here in California on the northern coast, and without giving out my age, let's just talk about my grandmother for a minute. Okay. My grandmother used to live in Anchorage, Alaska, and she was there in the 60s when the big earthquake, the largest one, I believe it was a 9.1 or 9.2, the largest one ever recorded in the United States, when it hit. And when it hit, the tsunami was so tremendous that hundreds and hundreds of miles away, it basically destroyed Crescent City, California. And they've actually had 33 large tsunamis since the 30s. But this was the biggest one. It was like 150-foot waves crashing into this little tiny town and, destroyed it. So, I have an interest in that sort of thing, living here as I do in earthquake territory. But what I wanted to tell you is that, I don't know exactly what your clients, what their mindset is, but if they're a lot like a lot of people that I see and I've been talking to, I've been trying to go out into town whenever I can, even though gas is about $6 a gallon here right now, and trying to talk to them and trying to get into people's heads, right? Especially older people. I live in a town that their industries are healthcare and funeral services. What does that tell you? The age of the population is probably well over 50, the average age. And I talk to people all the time to see where their heads are, because I had an advisor call me yesterday and say, I have leads. Okay, that's something I don't usually hear. I'm like, whoa. And I have prospects. I have tons of prospects. I'm like, wow. But what I can't do is get them to move to action, because they don't know what to do, and it's very confusing. Because if you listen to some bozo like Jim Cramer, who always gives the worst advice ever, I don't even know how the guy's still on TV. And then you listen to people like, you got the Ken Fishers out there, you've got the Dave Ramseys, you've got everybody out there telling you something different, and so people are they're just stuck. They don't know what to do. Do I put it all in silver and gold? Do I get my money out of the market, in the market? And the fact is, if you're working with retirees and people that are shortly before retiring, you know that they probably shouldn't be in the market. You can't really afford to lose any money right now. And I'm telling you, as fast as you make it, because I know it is the case with me, they're taking it. They're either taking it by deceptive means, because I noticed the banks are really manipulating credit scores now, and they're doing it so they can siphon off, they can have a justification for raising interest rates on your credit cards. So all of a sudden your payment was $68 a month, and now it's $98 with no explanation. You haven't added anything to your credit card, you haven't been late, you haven't missed a payment. There's no reason for it. It's happening to me. It's happening to other people I know. So there's a lot of things for people to be concerned about. But here's another one I want to tell you about. And do we really need any more bad news? But it could be an opportunity for some of you if you sell annuity products. This is just my thought as a marketer. And even though I am a licensed agent, I don't have the expertise that you guys have in annuities, but I've sold stuff in the past, and I kind of know what's going on here. So let me go over to my webcam, or my screenshot now. I'll turn off the webcam and go to the screenshot. And I'm going to show you, many of you who work in the long-term care space are already aware of this. The unfortunate thing is there's so much going on in the world that most consumers are not aware of this. And I know this because I have a long-term care specialist in Washington State where this first happened. This first disastrous new tax was levied. And she told me how it went down. Most people didn't, when they finally became aware of it, it was too late. It was a mad scramble to try to find coverage so that you don't have to pay the tax. You know what happened, and I know what happened, because there's fewer choices than there were several years ago. There's fewer carriers for long-term care. It's super expensive, and they became overwhelmed, all the carriers. So they were turning people away. There was just not any coverage available, right? And so people are stuck with the tax, okay? So guess what? Bad ideas tend to propagate faster than good ones. So just this article is talking about long-term care is emerging as a serious public health issue, right? Like, I do not for 1 minute believe that any politician really cares about me or anyone else that I care about. I don't. Call me cynical if you will. I think that it's gotten to the point where everything's so corrupt and so just unreal that nobody's out there doing things. And whenever somebody tells me they're going to do something for my own good, I'm telling you, I'm not really down with that because it never works out for me. But anyway, they've decided with all the other stuff going on in the world, brink of World War III, stuff like that, little minor things, that long-term care is a big issue. And so the state of Washington last year enacted a law on January 1st, and it required employers, okay, again, shifting the cost and the expense and the hassle of reporting to the employers. That's great for business, isn't it? So they want to make a law collecting taxes, but then they want you to do the work. So they're requiring employers to begin collecting a 0.58% payroll tax from employees, just like Obamacare, right? Just like some of the states that kept the requirement for the for coverage, right? And if you don't do it, you have to pay this tax. So they required employers to begin collecting a 0.58% payroll tax unless they document private long-term care insurance coverage. So the employers have the burden of figuring out whether Sally has legitimate long-term care insurance. Otherwise, they have to charge her 0.58%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but let me tell you, the death of 1,000 cuts, right? So these states, and you can kind of guess who they're going to be: California, Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota. What do all those states have in common? Well, I'll let you figure it out. But those are just the 4 right now. Now, like I said, bad ideas spread. And as the Medicaid issues become more prevalent in these states, because I don't know, letting thousands of people across the border and declaring yourself a sanctuary state probably is pretty expensive, wouldn't you say? Because they're giving benefits away like candy, unless you actually are a legitimate person that lives there. Now, those are just the first 4 states. If you're an agent and you work in those states, okay, or you are licensed in multiple states, including California, Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota, this could be an opportunity for you not only to help your clients avoid this tax, which is going to be just another cut to them, but you can also educate them about long-term care options other than long-term care standalone policies. You and I know that the hybrid annuities can provide. Now, it could be that these states say, oh, no, that's not the coverage we want. You have to have something else. But I'm thinking that a long-term care hybrid annuity is going to fit their description of coverage. This is good, right? Because this is a chance to sell perhaps legitimately younger people an annuity, a chance for you to come to the rescue of some of your clients that are going to be hit by this. I mean, I think this is really going to impact the people in their 40s to early 60s that are still working. So these are perfect people for this. This is just my opinion as just an outsider. But a lot of times you won't have, if you don't start now and they pass these laws, you don't have enough time to educate your clients. So I'm just saying, if you sell these kinds of products, find a really good one and start promoting that and talking to your clients about it, especially your clients, again, California, Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota to start with. But I have also read that there are at least 8 other states that are considering this. They're waiting to see how much money that these states skim out of the pockets of their citizens. And if it works out right, hey, they're going to start doing it too. I guarantee. So what are you going to get for that? Well, in Washington, not a heck of a lot. I love where they say, hey, Washington's program is a one-size-fits-all design that provides a maximum, okay, look at this, maximum lifetime benefit of $36,500. By the time those people are working and they're needing long-term care, guess what? That's going to pay for what? 2 months maybe 3. Individuals with higher incomes, this is the unfair part, okay? Okay, this is another scalping successful people thing. Sorry if I editorialize here, but really it's infuriating. Individuals with higher incomes will pay more in taxes for the same level of coverage as those with lower wages, and many will pay more. Listen to this. Many will pay more than the maximum benefit amount. This is not good. So your wealthier clients, those two, you need to reach out to them and say, look, you may end up paying more in tax. You know, you tech workers may end up paying more in tax than you'll ever get in benefits. Okay, so what you're doing, it's another Ponzi type scheme where they're keeping their Medicare, or not their Medicare, but their Medicaid programs afloat with people's, money coming in. Okay, with everything else going up, I just think people are not going to be too happy with this. But here's another caveat. Here's another thing that you need to hammer home to your clients and prospects is benefits are only payable for Washington residents receiving services in the state of Washington. So basically you're trapped, okay? If you decide to take advantage of that money that's in there, they're supposedly keeping it for you so that when you get ready, it'll be there. I don't even trust that at all. But say it was, you can only use it in that state. So what if you move to Texas or Florida or somewhere sane like that? What if you move? What's going to happen to that money? Well, you're not going to be able to access it. So you see, it's insidious. It's a double-edged blunt sword. It's really bad legislation. But because we are so busy, I don't know, surviving, we haven't had time to keep a good watch on how these people are stealing from us. So as an advisor or agent, as a rebel agent, what you want to do is the very best thing for your clients. You want to educate and inform them, and this is an opportunity to do something good for them. So I'm just saying, take a look at your particular state and see if they're thinking about this. And if they're not, they will, trust me. I'm telling you, every bit of stench from the West Coast makes its way over across the land. It's just like a cancer. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Look at other opportunities to position yourself for annuity sales. Look at if you're doing the right thing for people, they will notice, because I'm telling you, there's so much corruption, and there's so much corruption, lying, just blatant outright lying to people, that when you do the opposite, you will be the breath of fresh air. Have a great day. Continue to rebel. We've only just begun.